Now, what I am going to do here is try to regain control of my computer. And we can answer some questions. Can you see the questions from your side there, Dan?
I can't, mate, no.
No, okay, all right. Just bear with me for a second here, folks. Because what I want to do...
While you're breaking your computer, I'm just going to get a glass of water. Back in a sec.
Yeah, you do that, and I'll just tap Dan's here, and we'll get the... Hey, I've got control. You beauty. So what I'm going to do is go through and answer some questions here. Oops. Just indeed delete questions. Okay, I'm still trying to... There's a lot of comments in the questions. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go from the bottom up and see if we've got some questions there. So if you did have a question and you asked it earlier on, please retype it in now. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to have to go bottom up to get this done. Can you give us a brief recap and tell us what you've told us so far? No, watch the recording. How did you get their Facebook email into your Aweber account? Absolutely. It's a process of Facebook Connect. So we use Facebook Connect to ask permission to use people's email, and indeed we'll be showing you how to do that. If you drop into challengeplus.co, use that awesomeness. We'll show you exactly how that process works. It's not any coder that has half a brain can do it very, very simply, which is why it's such a shame that I'm seeing so many Facebook pages that are not using it, because that's the approved official Facebook way of doing it. And of course it is absolutely double opt-in, because there is you've given you've had to type in your name and approve it through clicking that, so it's absolutely kosher. John has asked, if we have our own personal Facebook account where we communicate with friends and family that's been in existence for a while, do we create our business pages as pages on that account, or do we create separate business account to do that? No, you have to, and Facebook are very clever about this. You have to use your own personal account to do it. Why? Why do Facebook want to do that? Because if you turn out to be a nasty, horrible, evil marketer, they want to not only wipe your business page out, but they want to wipe you off Facebook as well. And so you have to link your Facebook page to your personal account. Now, Jennifer Sheehan, who's taking us through the Facebook demographic advertising in Challenge Plus next month, she gave me a great tip. And that tip was, if you've got a Facebook page, it is absolutely vital for your business that you have more than one admin. Because if you are blown away from Facebook for whatever reason, any pages that you're an admin of, if you're the sole admin, get blown away with you. So it's very, very important that you must have at least 2 admins to every Facebook page. So it's a very, very good question there, John.
And I absolutely learned that the hard way on a niche account, because I was doing some dubious advertising, to say the least, to do some tests on it, and this is over a year ago, and yeah, completely lost control of that entirely.
Yeah. Benjamin's asking about Challenge Plus, and we'll just show you how to start from scratch. Challenge Plus is designed, it was literally designed as the literal next step. Like, you've done the challenge, and this is the next step. It's to take you through, and you have a look at all the material that's in there, and it's just all laid out. It's laid out exactly like the challenge, so it will feel very familiar to you. And the other cool feature of it is that, of course, every time we update a lesson, if you subscribe, it actually downloads automatically into your iTunes and your podcasts and all that sort of thing. So you can actually have it automatically come in to your page as well. Can we do our Facebook status updates via email? Absolutely you can, Nivesh. You just have to set that up. I will say one thing though. Or if you are updating and you add a link, the link will go in your status update, which is sort of cool. Here's the problem. Facebook won't spread it. If you've got a link, you really have to literally log in to your fan page up the top here. You literally, and if you click that link button up the top, that's the button that you want to, that you add link. And if you do it that way, if you do it the Facebook way on the Facebook page, you'll get the spread.
And it'll
You know,
bring in the
so
graphic and so on.
it'll
Otherwise, you don't
exactly.
get anything at all. One
That's right.
thing
Yeah.
though,
And yep.
people find it really difficult to find out how to update Facebook pages from email, and you need to go to facebook.com/mobile to activate it for the page. And believe it or not, that's the only place you can actually do it from for the first time.
Absolutely. Look, something I wanted to also show, when you go into to edit your page, most people don't realize, and this is again what really shocks me, is people don't realize there's this update button here. And I can at any time send a message to everybody who likes Ed Dale, which is cool. So you can send a message out, I can record a video, I can post a link, I can put in a looped location if that tickles your fancy, but that's not the cool bit. That's not the super, super cool bit. This is target this update. So I only want this update because I'm doing a conference in Melbourne in February. Let's do Australia, and let's do by city, Melbourne, Australia. I could actually go to sex, male, female, and age, and say, are you coming to Melbourne? And this will only send to my Facebook likers who are in Australia by the city, who are actually in the city of Melbourne. How sweet is that?
This is great for like doing small tests, segments of your list effectively. It's a great way of testing things.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And Linda's saying, Challenge Plus with a complete newbie is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Make sure you do it in conjunction with the challenge, though. Very important, because the challenge gives you all the basics. That's why we did it. It's to give you the absolute basics, and to lock in and the good thing about Challenge Plus is that it gives you the the differences. It gives you it's like an encyclopedia, so you can dip in and get the stuff that you need when you need it, which is fantastic. Now, what Chrome extensions are you using to show those Facebook and Twitter icons on the side? I'm actually using RockMelt. And I'm glad you asked about that, because RockMelt is what actually twigged me to the concept of using Facebook to get email. And because they use this process to sign up to RockMelt. And what's cool about RockMelt is you can see I've got all my Facebook people on the left-hand side there. But far more importantly is that it actually keeps you logged into Twitter and Facebook, so it makes those Facebook Connect buttons even super smoother, which is really, 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 really handy in and of itself. So that's what's that. How do I find out about Watchly? Is you go to watch.ly. Literally type in watch.ly up here in your browser, and off you go. You can go and check all of that out. Is the only way to get people to click on the like button in advertising spending money? No way. I haven't spent a single cent. I will, trust me, because the return on investment is unbelievable. But I have built none of my like list from spending money. It's all been from talking about it on Twitter, in emails, in websites, and it's been building an audience, market leadership style, just like a teaching challenge.
Yeah, and this is really important because, again, back to if you're building a niche business inside Facebook, then you want to create posts on your page which people find interesting and naturally like. And what happens then is when you like something personally, you might have a friend connection of, say, 80, 90 people who are friends with you on Facebook. They also get to see, Dan-raine has just liked this page. And that's the cool thing about Facebook. And people kind of almost don't believe it until they actually see it happen, that, information spreads, because typically internet marketing may be a bit of a different belt, but typically I'm interested in the same things as some of my friends are. So if I like a particular page, then my friends see that like, and then they go and check out that page as well. And that's how the viral nature that's how things spread like virally in Facebook itself, because your friends see the things that you like. And that is really the key to marketing success inside Facebook.
Yeah. Exactly. Dave's asked, saying some people are suggesting that suggestive pictures of women are what works most on traffic for Facebook demographic advertising. Um,
No.
and yeah, um, you know, that is so. That is so. Images are very, 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 very important. But the
I'm going to
stuff that
say that,
go on.
pictures of women do statistically work best in Facebook if you're targeting a male demographic.
Yep.
But they're also the quickest way to get your advert removed from Facebook as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just grade one marketing. It's marketing by people who don't understand Facebook, and that's the real sad part. Images are crucial, and images are important, and often a pleasant image is, and be it male or female. And I think, as Jen Sheen talks about in the Facebook course that she's putting on Challenge Plus, is, an image is often a good way to do things. But more people, if I put on a provocative woman with a bikini saying, "Hey, I like Ed Dale, you should too," it's just gutter. Do you want those people to be on your? I'm in this to make some money. I know that's a shock to you all. I know, horrific surprise, spoiler alert. I'm into this, and it means good on you, Alison Reynolds. If we can convince Alison Reynolds, we can convince anybody. Um, I'm in this to make some money, and it makes absolute sense. You've got to. I want people who are interested in giving me some money, that are interested in my stuff, not because they've been titillated by a picture, but because they are, absolutely crucial. Now,
Now,
people ask.
I'm just going to
Go
say
on,
that one
Rob.
of the key things with Facebook advertising is obviously, you've got to test a lot of different variations of the images. And if you
And
look
you
at,
can.
yeah, absolutely. And I did a presentation in San Diego, all about Facebook advertising. And for that, we spent probably close to $50,000 in advertising testing on Facebook. And it's the unusual images that work pretty well, something which stands out because people see these adverts over and over and over and over again, and it's having an image which invokes like curiosity. And like one of our winning ones was a cartoon picture of a chihuahua lying on its side, not like cozily, but it was literally a stand-up cartoon image, and it was literally flipped 90 degrees
Yep.
counterclockwise, and that was hands down the winning image. But it took us a lot of tests to actually find the right image there. And I'm sure, say, when we cover this
Yep.
in Challenge Plus, that we'll go through a lot of the image strategies there. But I just wanted to say
See,
that it's testing again.
yep. And people ask why a like's important. Hopefully, they've been watching my screen, because all these likes have been attached to my profile. And depending on what they are, permissions and so on, the ability to use these likes to customize advertising is vital. And that's why likes are so important. And people look at that and they go, "Oh, that's gosh, isn't that Big Brother, isn't it?" No, wouldn't you run if you're gonna? Let's face it, you know, Facebook's going to be paid for by advertising. Okay, you get this incredible service. You get to stay in touch with friends and family in a way that you never have before in your life. In your life, it's that awesome. It is brilliant. So somebody has to pay for this. And you pay via ads. So if you're going to get ads, wouldn't you like ads that you're actually going to be really interested in, as opposed to completely rubbish ads? And Facebook doesn't want to deliver that.
Well, let me give you an
And
example of how useful this is. Say, for instance, I wanted to advertise Watchley inside Facebook. Then, okay, I saw on your list there, Ed, that you've liked
yep,
Market Samurai.
yes,
So I know that people are into Market Samurai, into keyword research, probably into SEO, and they've got blogs and so on. So I
yeah,
can now
exactly.
I can now create an advert which is specifically targeted at people who also like the Market Samurai page, and this is perfect.
Yep,
It's like spot on demographic, and that's the cool thing about Facebook.
yep. And that's and again, this is all testing. This is not, Dan and I are not in the miracle business, right? This is all about testing, but it gives you options to test, and you can't ignore it. That's the whole message of this webinar: is please don't ignore Facebook anymore. You just can't. You can't afford to. And hopefully we've given you some really exciting ideas for going forward with this. People are asking stuff like, how to get buttons on your site and stuff like that. I'd really encourage you, at 27 bucks, I mean, for goodness sake, you know, Challenge Plus, it's It's $27 a month, and which is less than half a latte a day. And this is where you keep look at just look at all of this stuff that we've got on here that's just here recently in the last 30 days. We're doing a Google AdWords update, all this sort of stuff. And this is the stuff. And if you use the, funnily enough, if you use the all lowercase awesomeness, AWESOMENESS, you get $10 off. So it's only going to be $27 instead of 37. People are asking whether people running regular sites selling products or services, do you recommend them using Facebook Connect instead of signing up for a newsletter?
Personally, I think because of the engagement and the reliability of the email address, I'd use it. I'd also additionally offer the option of allowing them to fill in their name and email address as well. So I'd make Facebook Connect the main choice, and then underneath it I'd probably have or register using your email address. Which
is what we were one of the very, very first people to implement this in the challenge this year. And next year we'll take it to the to the next level. With adding this information, and that's why interestingly, that's why we didn't run a specific Facebook application this year in the challenge, because people think, oh, I've got to bring everything Facebook. No, and Facebook actually get this too. You still do you have your e-commerce. You can't throw all those away, for goodness sake. That's not what we're saying. But what you can do is you can just add some of those smoothness levels of Facebook into your site, so that when somebody buys something and hits the like button, they can let their friends know about it. Because think about it, in this day and age of where we are so bombarded, information is growing at the same level. Check this stat out. Google are collecting more information every 2 days than all of the information that was on the planet created since existence to 2003. Every 2 days. We can't keep up. Joe and Jane Smith can't keep up. So it's funny. The village becomes more important than ever. Personal recommendations are going to become absolutely crucial, and that's why like is such an issue here. Often, if you ask me, I will absolutely be pushing a Facebook sign-ups, because I just want real people. And the people who are the super nerds who have a real Facebook hang-up, I personally don't want them as clients. I just don't. Sorry. Mind you, if you're stuck on this webinar this long, I don't think I'm offending you. But Mitch Walters asks, how does this work for business-to-business marketing? It's a really interesting question, and honestly, I haven't got any expertise in business-to-business testing with Facebook.
I think it's going to take a lot longer in the B2B market than it is in the B2C.
And I think networks like LinkedIn, which again I have no particular expertise. I think this is the real business. This is where Joe and Jane Smith is. This is where consumers are. I think it's crucial for businesses to have a Facebook presence now. Like, it's non-optional. But I also think it's, we haven't even talking about Facebook Connect and mobile yet, and using Facebook Connect in mobile applications, which is how it all took off. That was the first place it really took off. So it really is phenomenal. What about posting from Seismic to Facebook and Twitter? Again, I love Seismic, but if you are updating your Facebook page from an external application, you are not going to get the spread. You just are not going to get that traffic. The moment you want to see what your real traffic is, you go to your Facebook fan page, you type the link into the link spot, and you type a status update in your status, and you watch the... If you don't believe me, fella, just go and test this. Use an auto service to update your fan page, and then physically go in and update with an actual real link and look at the difference in spread. And it makes sense. Facebook want to keep you in-house. They know any auto tools are by definition not giving the Facebook the respect that Facebook believes it deserves. So that's why they just don't give it the element. Okay, so let's keep going here. Sorry, there's some questions that are probably in context with what we were talking about Claire, what's Claire saying? If somebody changes their email address in a few months, do you get the email address updated via Facebook?
No, you can't actually do that at the moment.
No.
You can do it
You
so that
get
if they
the
remove the application, then you can remove the email address. So effectively,
yes.
it's like opting out. But at the moment, there's no way to do that. One thing you can ask for is permission to access their data at any time. So that's another field in the permission form, and then you can routinely go and grab their latest email address. But again, it's whether
Yeah.
you want to step over that boundary of asking for too much information.
Yeah. John asks, are there markets, niches, and demographics that are doing better or worse on Facebook? The answer to that is absolutely a big fat yes. And you have to test it though.
Yeah, I
Seriously,
mean,
you just need to
what
test.
one thing to say about Facebook marketing is it's all about the positive. So people don't ever post, "Oh, I'm fat. Oh, I've got eczema. Oh, I've got gonorrhea," or whatever it might be. People always post the positive. So when you're targeting advertising, you're targeting against people's likes. So naturally, people don't like having eczema.
And this is the genius of Facebook again, because the digerati and why haven't we got an unlike button? Why don't we have a hate button? Why don't we have a? Because Mark Zuckerberg is a freaking
Genius.
incredible genius. Because he realizes that you need to keep a certain level of tone to Facebook, or nobody wants to go in there. Nobody wants to go in there and read depression all the time,
Flame wars.
flame wars and stuff. So it's all about like, if you want to flame, go off Facebook. And it's just genius. Tonya asks, dan-raine, is there an easy way to create a Facebook Connect button for a non-techie? Funny
Um,
you should mention that.
there's Facebook, well, there's two ways. Facebook actually are implementing a real simple Facebook Connect system. I haven't really tested it out because it's absolutely buggy as hell at the moment. Um, but we're actually putting together a WordPress plugin which will allow that process to be nice and automatic. So again, more
Yep.
news in the new year on that one.
Exactly. Biggie's asking here, most people still leave blog comments on after adding Facebook comments. Why is that, and do we still need blog comments? I personally, in the new year, will be axing my blog comments forever, and I'll be just implementing Facebook comments.
Absolutely.
That's me personally. I'm not saying that that's you, right? I'm not saying that's you. That's what I'm going to be doing, because I love the idea of people commenting on what I have to say, and I even enjoy well thought out criticism. What I hate are people taking anonymous pot shots. Hate it. And so for me, if we use Facebook comments and comments only, then the only comments are going to be comments that are, I hope if they're, as I say, I'm quite happy to have criticism. I just want people to back it up with a real name.
Exactly. No anonymity. So
Yeah.
if you've got something critical to say, then at least people stand by it if they're putting the real details in.
Yeah. Marcus Patterson asks here, can a business take payments with Facebook? And the answer, of course, to that is absolutely yes. And they're, heard of a little company called Zynga. It's making money hand over fist. However, I think probably what you're asking, Marcus, is more like from an e-commerce platform, like a good old traditional e-store or stuff. In our experience, most people are still taking people to a website to do that because of the infrastructure and other issues. And I wouldn't argue against that at the moment. I haven't seen a lot of examples of people doing their entire e-commerce process inside of Facebook. And I'm not sure, I don't think you need to now. I don't think you need to do that. I think there are better tools outside of Facebook for that element of the business. What are your thoughts on that, Dan?
Personally, there's a lot of store builders and things which are popping up inside Facebook at the moment, but I think due to the sort of limited, you got like 520 pixels in a Facebook page to play with, and I think due to that sort of limited real estate, the shopping experience isn't as good as it needs to be in some cases. I have seen quite a few stores which are 100% inside Facebook, including taking PayPal payments, but to be honest, I'm not sure how profitable those are at the moment. I think taking people externally to a Facebook page and then signing them in with Facebook Connect and grabbing all the details, I think that's probably for the time being the way to go until more changes come down the pipeline.
Absolutely. Now we've only got to take a couple more questions because Dan in Manchester, it's heading past midnight, so I really appreciate you staying up for this. and as you can see there, we're still hitting max numbers here. Um, okay, so now Ed asked, do you have formal training? Yes. Now, of course, we're rolling out a whole bunch of Facebook stuff starting in January. You can get on until Friday into Challenge Plus for just $27 a month, that is, if you just use the tag awesomeness. Like the coupon is awesomeness. You can see it there on screen, just all lowercase though, not a capital A, lowercase a. Use that and you will get in for it. And it is really, if I do say so myself, it's really cool. Like, if you have a look here, it's laid out in a very familiar way that you're all used to in terms of this. And, we just cover all this, stuff that's relevant and that you need to know, and for less than half a coffee a day, you're getting updated, like the Google goes wild. And, stuff like the transcripts, which I think we do transcripts for everything inside of Plus. And, you can get all of these transcripts. You've got, AdWords display network, question and answer webinars, audios, just everything to keep you absolutely up to date. And the most important thing is no bull. This is all stuff we test. It's not stuff that, I love these. The transcripts. Tom just does such an awesome job. Every single thing has transcripts. Every single thing in here is just brilliant. And we just update you with the latest techniques, the latest stuff that's going on. And it's the perfect stepping stone for somebody just straight outside of the challenge. And of course, we have immediate edge for people who are really wanting to get cracking in advanced. People say, how do you post?
I'm going to say that
yes, please.
If you're brand new to this, you've just gone through the challenge process, then make sure you go to Challenge Plus before you come into the immediate edge. They're two completely different programs, and the edge can be quite overwhelming sometimes with hardcore stuff. So
yes, exactly. Which of course the experts love. Now, what about unique content? Can we aggregate content from other sites and cause visitors to like our Facebook page? Again, here's again how I'm doing this. My focus is here, Facebook page out. So here's an example. Here's a very cool plugin, actually, one of called RSS Bomber, which works quite spiffily. And what I've done there is that link goes off to an external page. Okay, so it heads off to, there we are. This is the Facebook page. So, but my starting point is to let people know about it here. And when I did this, if you go into my Twitter feed, you will see that this also got tweeted out. And it tweeted out for getting low PR links. This works a treat and is on sale for today only. And then it had the link in Twitter. So it's beautiful. So what you've got to, the big change that you need to make, that I'm making in my market leadership, is this. It's here, out. This is your totem. This is your base. This is where you type first, and then everything else flows from this. The mistake, huge mistake I made, was that I was auto-updating this, so everything was flowing into this, and bluntly, Facebook just doesn't spread it, which is smart on their basis. Now, what do you recommend for a not as recognized person to do? Start a fan page in their own name, or come up with a business service name and live their public biz life on Facebook? Albert, good question. Really, I wouldn't be starting a Facebook fan page for the heck of it. I mean, you need to be something. You need to be doing something. Like, you might want to do your own personal one purely because it's your business persona, and you can test stuff out and you can practice at it. But what you would be doing, obviously, if you had a niche and you tested a niche and you decided you're going to do market leadership in that niche, then you talk about the product, you talk about the service. Do you have anything to add to that, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things from a marketing point of view, we're quite used to setting up, pseudonyms and fake authors and so on. To get started, definitely set up a Facebook page based on your identity and start again, all back to market leadership. And if you've got a brand you're trying to promote, then create that page in that brand. I mean, that's ultimately what your final goal is. You might as well start because that's the nature of Facebook, is to become viral. So start with what you
Yep.
actually want it to become.
I've just popped up Emily. I hope KT doesn't mind me showing this. But they just do this so beautifully. Although they do allow people to post on this, but real people aren't scumbags, so it's probably fine. But people, I got a great question here. How does a Ma and Pa store have a page on Facebook and expect to get traffic and new visitors? It's because, look at this, and this has grown since yesterday. This was 830 yesterday. That's 859 now. And Emily does a fantastic job, and KT, of, providing cool, interesting stuff. Look, our website's been redesigned. Oh, look, there's a feature on Groupon today. Oh, boy, is that another whole
Yeah, that's another webinar.
Stand by for Ed and Dan on Groupon next year. We can only handle one game changer. I can only call game changer every couple of months or so. We'll save that for next year. But what happens is, of course, people interact with this page, and by interacting with this page, people say, "Oh, who's your hairdresser? Oh, Emily, check her out on Facebook." So I think some of the people who are going to see some of the most instantaneous effects of having a Facebook page are small business. And if you're into local business, doing a Facebook page is just a must, in my view. Anything further to add to that, Rob? Dan?
Me personally, if you look at like the example of the band, I mean, there's a band which started, which we're friends with, called Courteous Thief, and again, they've just grown through naturally through the Facebook progression, and that was one of the, again, bands used to go to MySpace, and they still
Exactly.
do. But I'm seeing phenomenal growth with inside Facebook, and it's just about communicating with people. That's it, and ultimately just having a presence there in the first place, and actually using the service. I think that's the one takeaway, is if you're not already on, then it takes no effort to create a really basic page right now.
And I just want to show people how and what there's a lot of Facebook isn't saying, and this could be a whole new webinar. Have a look at these ads on the right-hand side. We didn't specifically talk about demographic ads, but I just want to show you how incredibly awesome this system is and why Google's freaking out. Like a fan page. Obviously, okay, yes, I'm interested in fan pages. Duh. It knows that. But it knows I've been typing stuff. And check this out. Are you a warrior? The Warrior Dash. The 5K run from hell with beer. You idiots. But why are they asking me about that? Why? Because I'm using the Nike Plus GPS to record my pathetic running ability.
It's better than mine, mate.
And it's been picking up on that. And so I appreciate that. Now, because I've been checking out Emily, it's giving me a January detox retreat. But that's because so there's a lot going on behind the scenes which Facebook aren't even talking about at the moment. And, of course, good old arsenalnews.net. Look at that. Bless you.
Yeah, the targeting on Facebook is fantastic for ads, as long as you know how to use it. And one thing I have to say is people always think that Facebook's a cheap 5 cents a click advertising platform, and it's no longer is. And for really, really tight demographics, maybe. But
exactly.
you're nowhere near paying as much as Google, probably half of what the top end click is on Google. But remember, they're showing less adverts as well. So Facebook advertising is fantastic for demographics, but I don't want people to go in there expecting them to get like cheap clicks, because the days of cheap clicks on Facebook have really disappeared.
Absolutely. So if you have a look, we have probably 200 questions here. We're going to have to call it a day. So look, again, what if we do this, Dan? What if, as a bonus for people who go on to Challenge Plus, what if you and I hop on again and we just do a complete like Q&A type
perfect.
thing?
Yeah, that's great.
So if people go to challengeplus.co, it's $27, for goodness sake. It's half a latte to keep completely up to date with what's going on. If you use the awesomeness coupon, AWESOMENESS, all lowercase, I should say, not capital A, although it should be all caps for proper usage of the term awesomeness. But look, I hope we've done our job today. Our job today was to alert you guys to not only that it's time to take notice of this, but to realize that there are Facebook cool ways of doing things like getting people email addresses, and don't try to bring old school internet marketing, light squeezes and all of these sorts of things onto your Facebook page, I acknowledge, Dan would acknowledge, that yes, it does work. Now, unfortunately, sadly, it works brilliantly, but it's a short-term game. It's not going to last for long. Mark my words. Mark my words. It's not going to
No.
last.
Well,
So
one
I
final
wanted
thing
to
I
show.
want to say is
Please.
we one thing we haven't really covered is the SEO factor of Facebook pages and how well they actually rank in Google themselves. Um, at the moment on the Edge, we're writing a .com versus .co report and showing how those ranking. And in the new year, we're planning to do one inside the Immediate Edge on Facebook ranking. But what I'm going to do for anybody who signs up to the Challenge Plus, I'll also put that report out in the Challenge Plus in the new year.
Oh, thank you, mate. That's awesome. Brilliant.
Wow.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I know
That's been great.
it's been fantastic, and there will be I'm crossing all fingers and toes and every other extremity I have that we've got a good recording of this because, as I say, this is the perfect time to consider what you're doing for 2011, and Facebook just bluntly has to be a part of that mix. It just has to be. And as I say, we have literally covered the tip of the iceberg today in what you can do, and I'm still clicking that we're full. And there's too many people. So look, really appreciate it, everybody. Thank you very much. Again, if you and as I say, if you want to keep up to date on all of this stuff and you're just starting out, Challenge Plus is the way to go. Use the awesomeness code and you'll be well set. So go start experimenting, and we will speak to you soon. Thank you so much, Dan, because it's very late where you are.
No
so
problem.
really appreciate you staying up late.
All right, guys.
All right, folks.
I'll speak to you again.
Speak to you soon.